It's ironic that Birmingham got relegated to League One for the third time in their 149-year history, just when things were starting to look stable and promising off the field. There's a lot of ambition and money being invested, but unfortunately, the relegation happened despite that. With a new owner came in last summer, in the form of Tom Wagner and the investment of his company Knighthead Capital Management, and seven-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady, as chairman of the advisory board, Birmingham has plans for the step up to the Premier League. Now they would have to rebuild again in League One, a division they haven't been part of for 30 years. Birmingham City have been in this situation before, fighting to stay in the Championship on the last day of the season. But this time, things didn't go their way. Birmingham City had to win their last game against Norwich City to stay in the league, and they did, winning 1-0. But to avoid relegation, one of the other struggling teams, Plymouth Argyle, Sheffield Wednesday, or Blackburn Rovers, needed to lose. Unfortunately, all those teams won their matches too. Notably, Blackburn, now managed by John Eustace, who was Birmingham's manager at the start of the season, won their game. Eustace was surprisingly sacked last October, even though Birmingham was in a good position at the time. Craig Gardner, who had more authority in the new setup after helping with the takeover, believed that the team he and head recruiter Frank McParland had put together, with 12 new players last summer, could play a more attacking style of football without fear. But in reality, the squad didn't have the right characteristics to play the attacking brand of football the club's hierarchy now wished them to. This conflict led to Eustace's exit. Fans were shocked that their club made the same mistake as in the 2016-17 season. Back then, Gary Rowett was fired when the team was doing well. At Christmas, Gianfranco Zola was brought in, but Birmingham struggled and almost got relegated. They were saved on the final day, after Zola was fired and Harry Redknapp took over for the last 3 games. Wayne Rooney, the former England captain, took over from Eustace with the goal of playing fearless football. The new CEO, Garry Cook, had a good relationship with Rooney. He had previously tried to convince Rooney to join the Saudi Professional League and had been linked to takeover attempts at Derby County and Preston North End. Rooney tried to transform Birmingham immediately, but he quickly realised the players he got weren't strong enough to play the fast and aggressive football he wanted. Eustace had them playing in a different way. Rooney and his team tried hard to make the players stronger by training them a lot, almost like a pre-season. But the players found it tough because they were also playing matches at the same time. The decision to remove popular manager Eustace after just 11 games of the season, immediately after back-to-back wins that had them in the playoffs places, and replace him with the inexperienced former star player Rooney, turned out to be disastrous, leading to sacking him after 15 games. After Rooney left, there was a time when it looked like the club might ask Eustace to return because they were still paying him. But Eustace and Gardner had a falling out, so it didn't happen. After Rooney was fired on January 2nd, Steve Spooner took over temporarily. Under Rooney, the team only got 10 points out of 45 and were in 20th place. Then Mowbray took over and won 4 games out of 10, but he got sick and had to leave after a month. His assistant, Mark Venus, didn't seem comfortable as the main coach, and when it was clear Mowbray wouldn't be back for the rest of the season, Birmingham almost hired their old boss, Rowett, to save them from getting relegated. But none of them succeed in helping Birmingham stay in the Championship. Finally, Birmingham's 13-year spell in the Championship is over. 13 years, Birmingham didn't improve under their mysterious Chinese owners whose identity was never revealed. They were stuck, just managing to stay afloat. They kept facing letdowns, never finishing higher than 17th in 8 consecutive seasons. Many companies tried to take over Birmingham from the Chinese, but they all found it difficult to do business with the Chinese owners. Then came the Americans. In the summer of 2023, there was a lot of excitement after Knighthead took over through their subsidiary Shelby Companies Ltd. This was a big deal for fans who had been waiting for new owners. They were tired of the Chinese-backed Birmingham Sports Holdings, who had left St Andrews Stadium falling apart. Parts of the stands were so bad that they couldn't even be used. The stadium got a new name, St Andrews at Knighthead Park. It has seen the club finally receive some long-overdue investment from new owners. The team on the pitch also required major investment. Wagner and Knighthead have provided that. But while they have achieved off the field, mistakes, impatience and ill fortune have hampered progress on the field. Eustace and Rooney were absolutely sure that the kind of players recruited last summer were not good enough to play the attacking brand of football, and the team didn't have the right players for the new style of football the club wanted. In the winter transfer window, Rooney thought new players would come, but they didn't. Some new players did join, like Pike Sung-ho, Alex Pritchard, and Andre Dozzell. But experienced defender Kevin Long left for MLS team Toronto FC without anyone coming in to replace him. And the team still didn't get the striker they desperately needed. It was pointed out that the new players who were picked for the style of play Eustace wanted at the time were not the players he wanted. Also, the choices made in January were not right. Birmingham brought in 3 midfielders, but 2 of them can't even start in Rowett's team. Meanwhile, other teams like Sheffield Wednesday managed to fix their problems with scoring goals. It was strange to let Long go, especially because he was a regular under Eustace. Birmingham's new leaders talk about investing a lot of money, up to PS3 billion, to build a new sports quarter in Birmingham. They want it to be a big place for sports and entertainment, known around the world. They also plan to improve their current stadium and training ground to make them better. They want their club to move forward off the field. They also want to make their academy better, aiming for Category 1 status. Knighthead had ambitious plans, but they tried to do too much too soon, especially after years of neglect from the previous owners. Instead of taking small steps to rebuild, they rushed into things. Without a solid plan, the coaching staff kept changing. By the end, they seemed to lack confidence and energy. This led to problems, and now the club has fallen into League One. As Birmingham were getting relegated, Ipswich Town reached the Premier League after winning back-to-back promotions. That has to be the goal at St Andrews too, but they need a cohesive plan and consistent decision-making to achieve it.